yourself as what kind of person are you? Are you the kind that sees signs, sees miracles? Swing away, Meryl. Meryl, swing away.
Hey, yo, what's going on, friends? Welcome to In Madness Pod. What is this, episode 9?
9.
We are up to episode 9. It's Shawn the Butcher. I'm here with Vertebrae33. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing? How you doing, Shawn?
I can't believe we're up to episode 9. It's frigging insane.
We made it.
I can't wait till we get to 10. 10, we're doing the mega big super duper one, but these have all been mega big super duper.
Are we? We're doing a mix. This is news to me. All right, I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, we do like the 10s and the 20s and the 30s. We'll do the big ones, I think, like the Halloweens and the things and the killer clownses and the super the blobses and who knows.
I'm super intimidated to talk about Alien, the Thing.
Oh yeah, those are going to be 3-part, 2-part, 4-part episodes. Who the hell knows? Follow us on the socials at In Madness Pod on everything: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you want to email us, we'll read your email on the podcast. We'll shout you out, inmadnesspod@gmail.com. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you check out our In Madness Pod playlist on Spotify. I keep adding music to it that we just bring up on the show. Usually, I'm a big fan of movie samples in songs. So anytime we're talking about a movie and a song sampled it, I'm going to throw it into that playlist, or even just the end of Lighthouse. You know, great song.
And I would say also, if you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple, it will move us up their charts so that more people.
Or a 4-star review if we're good enough.
No, we want a 5 or 4.8. I settled for a 4.8. And leave a comment if you want. We got a few more reviews, but love to hear what people think, and any input they have, greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we want to hear from you. Any movie we're talking about, whether it's this movie, our past movies, if you have a favorite moment, a favorite scene, a favorite song, anything, we're here to nerd out. It's just us nerding out, and we want to nerd out with you. So on the socials at In Madness Pod, I'm going to shut the hell up. We are at episode 9. Vertebrae, would you like to give us our intro as customary every other week? I guess
I do, but this time, actually, 1 second before I do.
Oh man, did he come with props? Is this like Carrot Top? He did come with props.
I gotta put my tinfoil hat on.
He's got a tinfoil hat on now. You look like a Hershey Kiss person.
I do, yeah, just in case.
Wow.
We're talking about Signs from 2002, written and directed. I won't leave it on the entire time, I promise. It's my Jiffy Pop look.
I can't read your thoughts.
See, it worked. Yeah. The joke's on you because my brain's empty anyway.
Yeah, it is.
Written and directed by, let me straighten my hat. Written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. We know him from Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, The Village. Sixth Sense, I believe, is his first movie. Then Unbreakable, and then this. I'm going to take this off. My head is actually getting warm from this.
I was going to say, there's probably it's like probably like standing in front of the microwave or something.
Yeah, I feel smarter. I'm going to have a lot of gnarly bits. Let's see. The producers are Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall. And if those names are familiar to people out there, Kathleen Kennedy is the current president of Lucasfilm, and Frank Marshall is her husband. And they were also co-founders of Amblin Entertainment with Steven Spielberg. And Amblin gave us Gremlins, Back to the Future, E.T., Jurassic Park, Goonies. So heavy hitters. The soundtrack, James Newton Howard. He started working with M. Night. What do we got? We're gonna, on the documentary or in the making of, they call him Night. I think that's the cool way to say it.
Shyamalan. I've always said Shyamalan. I'm always going to say Shyamalan.
I'm going to say Night,
okay,
because they sounded so cool when they said it. Night.
I don't think you think that's his real name, or you think he got that doctored up for Hollywood?
Yeah, I think he embellished.
That's like a superhero name.
Yeah. James Newton Howard's the soundtrack. He did Unbreakable, Sixth Sense. He also did soundtracks with Hans Zimmer for Batman. And then in a full circle moment, He did music for Light and Magic, which is the Disney Plus series on Industrial Light and Magic. George Lucas's special effects company, and the company that did the special effects on this movie was Industrial Light and Magic, ILM. So we're all the way back around. I did that without tinfoil on my head. All right, the cast: Mel Gibson, Graham Hess, Joaquin Phoenix is Merrill Hess. If you don't know his name, Merrill, you didn't watch the movie. We got a Culkin, so we got Rory Culkin, Morgan Hess. Abigail Breslin is Bo Hess. Patricia Kalember is Colleen Hess. Cherry Jones is Officer Paskey. M. Night as Ray Reedy. Ray Reddy. And the dogs. Of course.
This podcast, it's a running theme that I didn't even notice until every single episode involves animals.
There are dogs. So there's Houdini and Isabel, and these two dogs are played by 3 dogs each. So Houdini was played by Josh, Zorro, and Thor, and Isabel was Betty, Zira, and Lacey. So those are your if there's an In Madness drinking game when I say the names of the real names of dog actors, drink up. And I'll just quickly get into influences, then we'll jump in. It certainly has heavy Twilight Zone, Spielberg influences. Feel Spielberg kind of all over this movie. Very heavy Hitchcock influences from the opening credits on.
You took my lines from me.
Oh, come on. Well, that's why
you're killing it. Go.
And then Night, I'm going to say Night because I sound cool when I say it, mentions Night of the Living Dead, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and your favorite, The Birds.
Hey, we'll do The Birds eventually. I promise. I just did with the birds. It just doesn't.
Well, maybe once we deep dive into it, you'll like it more. But also, and then the last one is a huge influence would be War of the Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So H.G. Wells' story, written in 1897. Most people know it from when it was adapted to a radio drama in 1938 by Orson Welles, and it caused panic with people who thought it was real. And in that story, the aliens are killed by bacteria that's common to Earth. So we take Hitchcock, Spielberg, War of the Worlds, roll it all up, and we get this fantastic movie, Signs.
This is just a cliff note for me. Back when I'm listening, we should definitely do War of the Worlds. Tom Cruise. I'm not the hugest Tom Cruise guy, but War of the Worlds. I mean, Tom Cruise in an alien movie. That shit goes really hard.
But is there a dog in there?
Man, knowing the theme of this damn show, and I've been dropping the ball with this. I haven't asked you for every episode. Do you have the vinyl for this movie, Signs?
It doesn't exist.
Damn you, M. Night.
It's it exists for Unbreakable and Sixth Sense. It's a fantastic score by James Newton Howard. And it's very throwbacky, very old Hollywood feel to it. Very epic sounding when it first starts with the opening credits. And we'll get into it once we jump into the movie.
I love this movie because it's at times incredibly serious, and then it'll immediately hit you with something either incredibly scary or even hilarious, which is good. And then you're like, is there going to be a Shyamalan twist? You don't know what to expect. And I love that this movie does a lot with so very little. It gives you
and I wonder, I never look into sort of what people thought about it or Rotten Tomatoes scores or any of it. I never do that. I'd be curious to talk to somebody who didn't like the movie, because I just think it's a great ride. I think what is there not to like about it? But I would think if you look back, there were some people who were probably like, oh, there was no twist. Right? If there had to be a criticism, because that's what he was known for.
I would have been so mad if it wasn't aliens, and that's kind of what I expected, because I knew Shyamalan for twists, and the movie poster has the crop circle in it. And I'm like, it's going to be, you're going to make it think it's aliens and then it's not going to be alien. Whatever. I'm ruining the movie already. But that I love Shyamalan. I told you I wanted to do a whole month on Shyamalan. But
should we say spoiler alert? Like if you haven't,
I mean, listen, if you're listening to the podcast, listen, if you haven't seen a
2002.
movie we're talking about, we're only talking about movies that are the shit. So you
Right.
should experience. It's like reading a good book. You want to see a good movie. You get cultured. It's like experiencing another part of the world. You know.
And you know, on that note, we don't share in advance. So I saved this for when we were
Yes.
recording. But somebody had made a comment on Instagram to me and said that they loved the show, thought it was really funny, really enjoyed it, and were getting a subscription to Shudder so they could watch Color Out of Space and listen to the episodes. So I thought that was amazing. Amazing.
People don't understand the color out of space. I keep trying to explain to them the importance of the movie and the episode, but it's not a big name. It's not a Gremlins, and it's not a Signs. It's a little more in the background, and I don't think it should be. I think it should be ranked right up there with all the dope ones.
We're gonna get him there.
Yeah, 100%. Watch Color Out of Space and listen to our episode of In Madness, Color Out of Space. Okay, so here we go. M. Night Shyamalan, Signs. Ready?
Ready.
All right, so we got our amazing opening music. I
Yeah.
wrote in my notes, kind of like Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock.
Very Hitchcockian. And you know, these opening credits were they designed them after the score was composed. The score is composed based off of storyboards, which is amazing. That's the kind of the comfortable relationship that Night, I'm going to say it, Night had with this composer, and he based it off of this, which is absolutely amazing. Great, fantastic opening.
It's those violins, that building up, and then the like the drawn out, like very Hitchcock. We're on a farm. We see a picture of a family, and our dad jumps awake in bed like he got shocked. We see he's alone in bed. There is a woman in the photo. She is not with him in bed.
Yeah.
He's in the bathroom brushing his teeth, and we hear a horrible scream outside. He's walking around the house wondering what the hell is it. We hear this scream again, and then we get the shot of my favorite character in the movie, Uncle Merle. Jumps out of bed onto the floor. So immediately, like, you hear screaming, but then again, sometimes it's serious, and then immediately it's funny. Like you're laughing at Merle jumping out.
Right. And you know, when you see Mel Gibson, I should get his proper name right. Graham.
I just call him Dad. I'm just going to call
Graham
him Dad.
or Dad come out. You see where there was a cross on the wall, and it's kind of like the shape is still there where it had been hanging on the wall.
I didn't notice that.
And it just dirty around it and leaves that space for the cross.
Our dad Graham has a lot of issues.
Yes.
The two men run outside. They meet each other, and they're like, "Where are the kids?" And then they hear a scream out in the cornfield. The guys run out in the cornfield, and they find Bo, our creepy little adorable girl.
She is creepy at points and so adorable.
Yes, 100%. Like when they see her, like in the beginning, they run up, they see her in the cornfield. A little girl standing in the middle of a cornfield, immediately scary. Children of the Corn has ruined me. Anything in a cornfield is scary. They grab her. Where's Morgan? This creepy girl goes, "Are you in my dream too?" We're not even 60 seconds into this movie, and she's freaking me out. In the middle of our dad Graham saying it's not a dream, we hear another scream, and it's Morgan. Run up to Morgan. He says he heard the dog barking. He woke up the kids, and he's like, "Are you hurt?" And now creepy Morgan. They're both creepy. Both these kids are just too creepy for their own. To get out of the sticks. Get out of there.
It's all that playing around in the cornfield.
Yeah, it's like the Color Out of Space kids. They're out in the sticks, and they're just weirdos. Morgan goes,
in their defense, they've had a rough 6 months.
Yes, 100%. But they had to be weird before that, I'm sure. Morgan goes, "I think God did it." And our dad goes, "Did what?" And then Morgan grabs him by his chin, turns his face, and in amazement, Dad walks through the corn and steps out, and he's walking. You just see his feet, and it goes from corn to flat.
Yeah.
He steps on. We go and get this aerial shot It's circles, it's lines, it's a big ass crop circle in the middle of their cornfield.
And so this movie was filmed at an agricultural college, and they grew a lot of the corn for this movie. So it had to be filmed at a certain time. And they built the house, they built the farmhouse from scratch. So it's absolutely amazing practical effects. And the amazing thing is, we jump ahead, but this crop circle and the other ones we see on a television later on, they made all of those and then filmed it. That wasn't found footage. They made these crop circles and then filmed it. Amazing, especially the other ones, because you only see them for a split second. But go ahead.
I've been obsessed with aliens the entirety of my life. Scared shitless from aliens. I would be obsessed with aliens, have my mom take me to Barnes and Noble. I would buy alien books. I was young Morgan, 100%. I was young Morgan. And I would buy these books and I would keep them on my shelf, and I would be in bed and I would be awake, and my mom would come in and be like, "Why are you awake?" And I would make her turn the book. The alien book had an alien face on it, and it would be staring at me, and I couldn't go to sleep.
Oh.
Aliens have always scared the crap out of me. In my notes here, I have you ever watched the show Signs? Because I know you were alive when it was on TV.
No.
It was from the 90s. From the 90s, it was on Channel 5, and they covered everything. It was like kind of like Unsolved Mysteries, but like
Okay.
they covered aliens and ghosts and paranormal and all this stuff. And the intro for the show Signs it's like 30 seconds, and there's always like crop circles and then an alien face pops up. And I remember having sleepovers as a kid, and we'd sit there, we'd watch Signs, and the second the alien face would pop up, we'd all go freaking out. So scary. So that's Signs. If you haven't, look up Signs.
And that is that. You think that's where he got the name?
Nah. But there's anyone listening to In Madness should definitely check out
all right, I'll check it out.
Yeah, old school episodes of the show Signs. Hi, sorry, it's Shawn. I don't mean to interrupt the listening experience, but I just realized editing this in post-production that the entire time I was saying the show is Signs. Signs is the movie we're talking about. The show I was talking about was actually called Sightings. If you ever saw Sightings, that show used to scare the crap out of me. I got confused. I'm an idiot. I apologize. Back to the show.
But you know, Shawn, that the aliens are here and they're been arriving kind of on a weekly basis now. So
yes, yeah. What in this movie or in real life?
In real life,
yeah.
Are you more afraid of? We're off on a tangent.
Let's go.
Are you more afraid of aliens from outer space or artificial intelligence?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go. Yeah. We just did a whole aliens, but realistically artificial intelligence, because it's here.
Well, they're here too, I think.
I mean, I guess, but not I mean,
we don't know.
We're not using aliens at my job yet, but we're definitely using artificial intelligence.
Oh yeah. Should we spend 5 minutes where I can just scream about AI art? I will say this one statement about it, and this will be recorded and it'll forever be out as a podcast. But I tweeted it the other day. Your AI art is not art. End of story.
A lot of problems with like plagiarism I'm hearing about lately.
Well, that's where they get it from. They scan the images and they take it. So if I have copyright to the art I created, they're not paying for usage. So the whole system is, they'll go down. There's already lawsuits about that. So
I've recently heard an artificial intelligence radio DJ.
Yes, I heard about that.
I thought it was going to sound like a robot, and it doesn't. It sounds like a goddamn person, and it's incredibly scary and incredibly uncomfortable. And it reminded me, Simpsons did it. Back in the day, Simpsons had an episode where Bart wins an elephant and the DJs don't give him the elephant and he gets in trouble. We're so off on a tangent. This will take 2 seconds, I promise. The DJs won't give him the elephant, and then the CEO calls them in and she's like, "That's the DJ3000. It has 200 programmed things and all the chatter that you could handle." And she hits the thing on and it's like, "That was the caller from hell. Hot dog, we have a wiener." And the guy's like, "Wow, that thing's really good." And his other host goes, "Don't praise the machine. And this was back in like 1990.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're living it, and it's scary. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean,
I can tell you right now, though, there is no artificial intelligence DJ that beats Shawn the Butcher. They can all go
hey,
to hell.
no,
They're
no
no good.
artificial intelligence can be this stupid.
Hey, humans are fun.
The artificial intelligence still needs the humans to program it. Once that ends, then it's Skynet and we're all screwed. But that's going to happen way before aliens come.
I want to find the cord that they're plugged into. Remember Prometheus?
That's why we have to do Lucy. We have to do Lucy. I keep bringing it up.
Okay.
Maybe within the next couple of episodes, because that focuses around all this shit, all of this shit. But let's get back to it. Signs. Let's get back to it. Shyamalan. Night. The camera faces. So we got the aerial shot. We see the crop circle. We think we have aliens, but it is Shyamalan, so maybe it's not aliens. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
The camera fades to black. We find out we're in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Dad is on the phone with somebody. I don't know who's on the phone with him. He's like, I don't care if it was him. Just have a word with him. It was weird finding the crops that way. The kids.
That's the sheriff. He's on the phone with the officer who shows up at the house.
Well, I thought that too, but it's the same. Isn't it the same scene? Because he hangs up the phone and walks away, and she's already there, and he says, "I called you hours ago."
Oh,
so I think it was somebody else. I don't know, because I thought that too. I'm like, he calls the cops and then shows up, but it's not. I think because it's the same shot. I don't think there's a cut. But either
that's
way,
the twist. Hey, that's the twist.
That's
we found the twist.
He's like, the kids were confused. It was a strange way to find the crops. Was it Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington brothers just messing around? Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington brothers have a bad rep in this movie.
They do.
He hangs up, he walks in the kitchen, and there's our creepy kids, our creepy yet adorable kids with the dog, Houdini. There's a puddle of piss on the ground. Morgan's like, he peed. She peed. She might be sick. Yeah. Dad says, get her outside. He takes the paper towel. He gobs up all this piss. He's walking like the piss is like leaking off the paper towel. He's walking through the kitchen. It's gross. And then he walks into our lady cop. I'm sorry, I don't have our lady cop's name. What's her name?
Yeah, that's Officer Paskey.
Officer Paskey. I'm gonna write that down.
Or just Officer. She's only Officer.
I just have her written as a lady cop in my notes. It's very rude of me. She's standing in the house, and Dad's mad because he says he called the police hours ago. She's like, old Miss Kendallman got mad at all these skateboarders and went down to the store and started spitting on the skateboards. She sprayed the whole damn place. What's up with your crops?
Way pre-COVID. Spitting all over the skateboards.
Spitting all over everything, old lady. Morgan's outside. He's cooking chicken on the barbecue. Bo's drinking a glass of water. Hands it off to Morgan and says, it's contaminated. He drinks it, but she's supposed to give it to the dog. She's like, it tastes funny. Funny water? Does this remind you of anything?
Water. Here
Color Out of Space. Check out episode 5 in Madness and then watch Color Out of Space. Morgan says it's fine. The dog licks his butt all day. I don't think he's going to mind the water. She pours the water in his bowl. She pushes it to his face, and the dog starts snarling. At the water? At Bo? What's he snarling at? I think he's snarling at a little bit of both. I think he knows the water is like, I think there is something in the water.
I think there's an alien behind them. And we can't see it because they can camouflage themselves.
And this is your fear. Daytime.
Daytime horror.
We cut to our dad and Officer Paskey in the cornfield, wondering how can this happen? What kind of machine can bend a corn stalk without breaking it? She keeps calling him father, like he's a reverend. Can't be done by hand. It's too perfect. It doesn't sound like Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington brothers. They can't take a piss without wetting the front of their pants. Poor Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington brothers. And we never see the Wolfington brothers. We only see Lionel Pritchard ever.
Yeah, we see Lionel.
And I got a gnarly bit on him. We'll get to that.
Oh, maybe we have the same one.
Oh, probably. Yeah. She said she was at another man's farm recently because the farmer said the animals were acting funny. They were acting violent.
Mm.
And Graham, our dad, asked if it's a virus. She's like, they were acting violent as if a predator was around, like we just saw the dog doing. So, damn, you're right. Like,
Yeah.
maybe there was one right behind them.
The kids and the animals always know first. Always know first.
She tells Graham, the animals have been peeing themselves. And then our dad is like, oh, this just happened minutes ago. He gets up, he slowly walks away, and he's like, stop calling me father. He's bugged out because he doesn't hear his children. They come running out of the cornfield, and Morgan is on the ground with the dog. The dog is now dead. This goddamn podcast and dead animals. Morgan stuck the barbecue fork in the dog. Says he fell on me. He wanted to kill Bo.
Crazy. We're 10 minutes into this movie, and we have a dead dog killed by a little kid.
Crop circles, dead dogs.
Just,
and then he uses his inhaler because he's just had a hell of a couple of minutes.
and we'll say this. We've said this on other movies we did, but everything matters in this movie. There's every bit of each scene plays out later on.
The signs
Yes.
are everywhere.
Oh, he's a professional. Look at him.
We get the cool, long, scary shot of the house. Evil Dead, me with houses, whatever. We get the shot of the cornfield, okay? We hear a cricket chirping, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then it just shuts up.
Yeah.
Like it knows, like, oh, like, I better not say a word.
Or it was stepped on by the alien in the cornfield.
Yeah, but that could be another thing. But in our vein of like the animals and the kids always know, like, why wouldn't the insects too? You know,
That's true. Let's give some love to the insects.
yeah, don't hate on the insects. Don't hate on the insects. Dad wakes up again in shock in bed, and there's Bo, creepy as hell.
Hmm.
What's the matter? There's a monster outside my room. Can I have a glass of water?
Yeah. That's a typical kid non sequitur right there. Just
so cute.
I want water, and
so scary. So funny. What's wrong with the water next to your bed? It tastes old. So the kids know, the animals know, always. He walks her to her bed. He asks what she's thinking about. Why do you talk to mom when you're by yourself? Ugh.
Yeah.
Makes me feel better. Does she ever answer back? No. She never answers me either. Ugh.
Yeah.
Kill me. Like, why, M. Night? Why? So sad. So vulnerable. So choked up.
But because of this, all of these signs matter.
And then my man Shyamalan does what he does so many times in this movie. He has you riding this wave, going straight down the emotional roller coaster. While this is happening, Dad looks out the window and boom, there is a silhouette standing outside on the roof, looking into the goddamn window. And you're made vulnerable, and then you're immediately scared the crap out of. So good. So good.
What do you think he thought? Do you think he thought that was like Lionel?
Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington brothers. He runs right down to Merle and says, they're back.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're so stupid.
Yeah.
And then we get the battle sequence. Merrill, he's ready to kick ass. I
just wonder, like, I said that, and yes, he comes out and says that to him, but there's also a point that a lot of weird things have just happened. So I wonder, he says that out loud, it's them, but I don't know. I wonder, and if his heart of hearts, he's kind of like, I don't know, we got this crop circle, and now but maybe he doesn't want to believe that at this moment.
Yeah. That's a good point as well. Merrill's ready to kick ass, but Dad wants to be peaceful. Merrill devises a great plan. Run around opposite sides of the house, screaming like maniacs. We're going to make them crap their pants. Act crazy. And our dad's like, explain act crazy. Curse and stuff. I don't curse. Yeah, but you don't mean it. It's just for show. It won't be convincing. It doesn't sound natural when I curse, our dad says.
This feels very Spielberg, this part. Very kind
Yeah,
of goofy
just
fun
this
between
pointless
the two of
argument.
them.
Make
Yeah.
noises, explain noises. Like, it's very humorous. You get this heartbreaking moment. Then you get this jump scare. Then you get them prepping, all within the span of like 60 seconds. And it's like so many different emotions. It's so funny. So Meryl's like, "Are you gonna do this or what?" And our dad's like, "No." They're just arguing about going outside, and then boom, a light flicks on outside, and that's it. Now it's time to stop talking, and they run outside. The dad screaming, "I'm insane with anger." so ham, just so funny. Meryl's like, "We're gonna beat your ass, bitch." We see a trash can roll over. Now, I have in my notes here, I haven't seen E.T. in frigging 25 years, probably more. But isn't there like a trash can rolling? Doesn't E.T. knock over a trash can?
Yeah. Yep.
You think that was a nod to that?
I would think so. I would think so. I was a huge Spielberg fan, and
there's more, I have more references to that as well throughout.
oh yeah, you know, it's funny. I didn't go that way with it because there was just all this other stuff.
It's only one other thing, and it's right here too. But Dad sees a silhouette in the light and screams, "It's time for an ass whooping!" But the boys meet in the front of the house, and there's nobody there. Dad's like, "I cursed," and Meryl goes, "I heard."
Yeah. He's unimpressed.
And then we hear a noise on the roof, and the boys look up, and they're stunned. How did he get up there? We hear running around, but it's not normal running around. It's like claws scratching and scraping.
Yeah, it's more like scampering, kind of.
Meryl asks, "Are you sure it's Lionel Pritchard?" We hear it jump. It clears where they're standing. It hits the swings. It scurries into the cornfield before anyone can see what it is. This is
no
my
way. We meet Lionel later. No way Lionel could pull that off.
I love Lionel. My other ET note here, wasn't ET like in a cornfield as well? I remember. I think when little Elliot shined the light on him, like, isn't ET like, isn't that in a cornfield too?
I think we got to do ET,
Yeah,
Shawn.
I can't handle that. I can't be crying as a grown man at 40 years old on YouTube at ET. It's going to be so embarrassing. It's going to be so embarrassing. Can we wait for that one at least? Jesus.
Maybe like we'll do a title like a very special episode.
Yeah. Bring your tissues. God damn it. The next day, the cop's back at the house. Officer Paskey. Morgan's playing with the radio. She's like, "You have a baby monitor? You could use it as a walkie-talkie, but it only works one way." Bo's in the living room watching Dexter's Laboratory. Love that show.
Yeah, did you notice? So Dexter, it's on the TV. He hits, in this scene they show, he hits a monster with a stick kind of over and over again, and then it's dunked headfirst into water.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah.
Gnarly bits. Cool. That's awesome. Shout out to Dexter's Laboratory, Cartoon Network. Dad gets mad at her because she's got 3 glasses of water stacked on the TV. He's like, "Take a glass, drink it, finish it. What's wrong with these? It's got dust in it. There's a hair in it. Morgan took a sip and it has his amoebas in it." She is adorable.
Yeah.
The cop's talking to Meryl. You moving in with your brother after, was a nice thing to do. Our dad goes to walk back into the room they're in, and he finds more half-drank glasses of water all over the house. There are signs everywhere. Dad's super annoyed. He just leaves them. He's like, enough with these glasses of water. And then we're laughing again. The cop's talking to Meryl and Graham. She's like, "Okay, recall your experience. It was very dark. He was tall, probably." She's like, "It might be a woman." "I don't think so. He jumped on our roof. It's 10 feet high. I've seen Scandinavian women in the Olympics who can do high jumps too." Meryl has had it. Excluding the fact that there might be a Scandinavian Olympian running around our house, what other possibility might there be? She's like, "I don't appreciate your sarcasm." Do you have beef with any other family? Anybody holding a grudge? A church member who might not have liked the fact that you left the church. Now we get into our dad's issues. I mean, we were getting into him the whole time. She's calling him father. He doesn't want to hear it. We get another hilarious scene later on with the same thing. Meryl apologizes. He said he was out of line with the comment, but he was running as fast as he could, and the person outside was just toying with them. Bo walks in to let them know that the same show is on every station.
Here we go.
Everyone looks up. Here we go. Super intrigued. They gather around the TV, and there it is. Breaking news, Bangalore, India, crop circles. Turns out there are crop circles all over India. Experts saying either it's one of the most elaborate hoaxes ever or it's real. Speaking of which, you saw the UFO footage that the military released, right?
Yeah.
A terrible video.
Yeah, they're coming for you, Shawn.
So they're here. They're like, here. What do you do? What do you do if you wake up and there's like aliens out there? What if they beat AI and now the aliens are here and they beat Skynet? Like,
well, let's we'll get into it later, but let's hope those aliens are as unintelligent as these aliens, and then we got an easy win ahead of us.
The planet's what, 85% water?
I think I have like it's 71.
I don't know. I'm damned if I know. I'm pulling numbers out of my ass.
See, I was trying to save that till later on.
Oh, that's funny. No, we'll get there. We'll get there. Morgan takes a hit off his inhaler. Extraterrestrials. That's my man. The cop doesn't know what's up. She leaves the house. She did research that 2 or 3 guys can make those crop circles overnight using boards and ropes. Easy. But how can so many people be in on it now that they're popping up all over the place? She tells Dad, everyone needs to get their mind off this. You've been through a lot lately. Take the kids to town. The cop leaves and we hear news reports that 18 crop circles have been found in India in the last 72 hours. And that's what I love about this movie, because we're hyper focused on this family.
Yes.
And we don't need Independence Day, fights with the military and the aliens. Like, it accomplishes so much hyper focusing on this family. And then we see the rest of the world is affected just through this box, this television that they're,
And I will say, for me, I hadn't seen it in a while, and then I watched it a few times for the show, and post-pandemic, it has those vibes to it as well. We're a part of something, but we're alone, just with our family. Everybody's hunkered down. Everyone's watching the news. They're not sure what to do. They're microwaving their mail or doing whatever they need to do to survive, or think that they're doing what they need to do. And I looked at this movie different, because the first time we saw this movie, we saw it post 9/11. And now, and then this is post pandemic, and it gives you a different wrinkle to this film when you watch it.
We cut to the dad taking the family to town. Morgan asks Meryl, please turn on the radio. The second he does, the signs are intended to be seen from the sky. Dad turns off the radio. Signs. He's like, no radio, just for now. They get to town. Everyone goes their separate ways. Morgan goes right to the bookstore. And again, we're laughing our ass off. There is this dude watching television. And he's like, this is all phooey. We learn that there's crop circles in England. And the guy's watching the TV. It's a crock. They're just selling sodas. I've been watching since this morning. I've seen 12 soda commercials. 12. So funny. He asked for a book on extraterrestrials. They think they have one by accident because it came in with the shipment that they keep for city folk.
So funny. And this part, they break the characters apart, and this is where we kind of flesh them out and their backstories and get to know them a little more individually. And then we bring them back together and end up back on the farm.
And all of it hilarious. Like, every step from here down is like, I have laughs all over the place. Dad's at the general store getting Morgan's inhaler. A voice on the radio says, it's just copycats doing this. Everyone's on the verge of mass hysteria. And the pharmacy girl is like, she keeps calling Graham father. He's super annoyed.
Yeah.
It's not father anymore. You know that. And she walks up and she's like, Father, can I clear my conscience? And he looks so annoyed. He just wants to pay and leave. He's like, I haven't been a reverend for 6 months. She's freaking out because all the stuff on TV, people talking about the end of the world. She's scared. She wants to clear her conscience, and now this poor bastard is stuck there listening to her.
And I wonder how many times has he gone through this in the past? Because he's on, when he was a reverend, you're on 24/7. So you go into town, get some supplies, and hey, can I talk to you about this? I need your advice about that. I think it's probably happened to him a lot. And they might be used to it. Like, oh, he's okay to talk to about it, but
he wants no part of it.
No.
He looks so annoyed. And it's just funny because you're just like, oh, this poor bastard. And it gets funnier.
And this is very 80s. This girl, this pharmacy. It feels
oh yeah, it's like Genevieve's or what you said, Kroger's or whatever back in the day, or Safeway, whatever you said in our Barbarian episode.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's a part I've been really wanting to get into. Meryl is standing in the army recruitment shop. Recruiter says he's been told strange people have been around the last couple of nights. Can't tell what they look like because they stay in the shadows, covert like. Meryl's a little interested but skeptical. And the recruiter goes, it's called probing. It's a military procedure. They send out a recon crew, small crew to check things out, not to engage, but to evaluate the situation, the danger, to make sure things are all clear for the rest of them. Meryl's like, yeah, sure. But this is indeed our story as it's happening. This guy is basically laying it out for you. Meryl asks for a pamphlet, and the recruiter's like, shit, you're Meryl Hess. I know you. I was there the day you hit the 507-footer over the wall and set that record. It's still the record, right? And Meryl's like, yeah, I got the bat on the wall at home.
Sign.
There are signs everywhere. Meryl says he's got 5 home run records. The recruiter asks, why aren't you in the pros making stacks of cash, getting your toes licked by beautiful women?
Yeah, so random.
What a line.
So comfortable, so fast, so random. And he's the recruiter. he's got a mug, and I'm like, me, I gotta look. I'm looking. There's writing on the mug. I gotta figure out what this is. I'm pausing the movie and figured out that it's a synopsis of the Battle of Iwo Jima. 1945, World War II's bloodiest battle, and the Marines and the Navy took over this island, and they wanted it as a staging area for planes and equipment, etc. So I wonder if the aliens that are arriving here were just going to use Earth as a staging area to go somewhere else. And that's why they picked a place that's not so comfortable for them. Maybe. There's a little theory. Just threw that out there.
Maybe it's like Prometheus. They built it here, it got out, the end.
Yeah. This guy's classic 80s military guy.
Oh, yeah. He's got that, as Hank Hill would say, a haircut you could set your watch to.
Yeah.
Okay. So then out of nowhere in the background comes my man, Lionel Pritchard.
Was he there the whole time?
He's in
the middle of filling out a form.
He goes, he's also got another record he doesn't want anyone to know about. His strikeout record. Meryl turns around annoyed and goes, hello, Lionel. And this is Lionel Pritchard, who they suspect has been screwing with them the whole time. Now I'm going off into my sidebar. This is my gnarly bit. Lionel Pritchard.
I'm excited.
Lionel Pritchard, did I get his real name?
Oh no.
Christ, I didn't get his. Oh wait, Michael Showalter.
Okay.
Michael Showalter was on one of my favorite shows ever on MTV called
Yes.
State.
Yes.
It was a sketch comedy show like SNL.
He was Doug. What did he
He
play?
was
Doug?
Doug.
I'm out of
I'm
here.
at it. Here.
Oh, amazing.
Golden.
Yeah.
Golden. And
Amazing.
the people from the state went on to do Reno 911. Basically every single comedy movie that's been written, like the state had a cast of like 15, 20, however many people, and all the people who were on that show are writers behind all of like every comedy that's been released in the last like 20 years. It's insane. I don't know it until I see behind the scenes thing, and I'm like, oh, that's a dude from the state. Oh, that's another dude from the
Yeah.
state. Like they're just involved in everything. So I mean, we've been talking about a Patreon, and I love comedy almost as much
Okay.
as I love horror. So maybe we do like a comedy thing, like a separate In Madness thing, like In Laughness or whatever.
In Laughness.
I don't know, but I just little comedy. I mean, The Simpsons or the Critic or The State or just just little weird things. Just something different, just something.
Well, maybe if people are into it, drop
Yeah.
us a line, send us an email in
And let us know at In Madness
gmail.com.
Pod. Yeah, follow us on
Um,
all the socials and subscribe to the YouTube as well.
I thought your gnarly bit was going to be his T-shirt.
I didn't even. What was his T-shirt?
It's it looks like it's an Electric Frankenstein shirt, which is like
Oh.
a punk rock band from New Jersey.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
yeah.
no, Michael Showalter, the dude is a legend. So it's him, and I even when I remember seeing this in theaters, I was like, oh my god, it's the state.
Somebody reach out to Michael Showalter and tell him we want him to come on the show and talk to us about comedy.
Hell yes, I'll tweet him when we put out this episode. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna put up a picture of Lionel Pritchard sitting there signing the paper. So I guess he's sitting there signing papers to enlist in the army, probably because he's just like always in trouble around town, and his dad's like, "You're going to the army." He's talking smack about Merle. He's a screw up. He'd swing that bat as hard as he could, no matter what the coaches told him. Looked like he was chopping down a tree. He has more strikeouts than any two players. And then all of a sudden, the recruiter who thought Merrill should be getting his toes licked is not really so impressed. Do you really have the strikeout record? Merrill goes, felt wrong not to swing.
Yeah.
Sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
He struts on over to Lionel, and he like fake flinches on him. And Lionel basically jumps out of his chair. And he's just like,
yeah, Lionel's the classic school bully. And after he's done bullying kids, probably life didn't work out so well for him.
Except for being on the state.
Yeah. Well, Showalter, yeah. We have a Showalter moment on every episode until he comes on.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to harass him. We cut to the kids at the bookstore. Morgan's reading an E.T. book, extraterrestrial book. Bo has 2 glasses of water in front of her, telling the lady who owns the place, it's contaminated.
Yeah.
How can you not think color out of space? Were you thinking that? Like poison water?
Yeah, now, because we just talked about it. So absolutely. I yeah, water all over the place.
Morgan tells the lady there's nothing wrong with your water. Morgan has done this her whole life. It's like a tick. And then we hear a guy scream in the background. He goes, 13! It's the 13th soda commercial. And then the camera just pans in and shows like the commercial. It's like a Mentos commercial, but for soda.
Yeah.
So funny. Just the range of emotions going through. So Morgan buys the book. And we cut to the dad back at the general store who's still listening to this girl complain about saying the F word and bastard and douchebag. And she's just going on. And I love it. And you're like, and then all of a sudden this little dude from the back of our dad like just peeks over his shoulder.
Yeah,
like,
is this almost done?
Like he's been standing there for 15, 20 minutes.
Pick up my prescription.
So funny. I love the way this movie bounces around with emotion. So we cut to our family at the pizza place, and our dad sits down and goes, I never want you to hang out with that girl at the pharmacy ever. So funny. Then things get a little deeper. Again, friggin' Shyamalan.
Here he comes.
Yeah. Dad looks out the window and sees this man. It's not just any man, it's Shyamalan, who always makes cameos in all of his movies. He's the man, just not in this movie. The kids see him and ask, "Is that him?" Merrill goes, "Yeah." And he catches a glimpse at our dad sitting in the pizza place and, warily gets in his car and drives away. Something's going on with these two, and we don't know what. And poor Bo goes, "Who is it?" Ugh. Because she doesn't know. She has no idea. So sad.
And twice in this movie does he get in his car and speed away. I think that's just how he drives, maybe. He just takes off.
That's what got him into trouble in the first place.
Yeah. Yep.
They pull up back to the house, and the baby monitor starts going off. And he tells the fam he's going to use the walkie-talkie. If he hears something, what if it's the signal? What if it's a signal from the ship? And Dad is trying to convince him it's not. And Meryl's like, "Listen, it's just a bunch of nerds who never had a girlfriend in their life. And they're like 30 and they work up these codes together. They analyze Greek mythology. They make up these secret societies. And then other guys who never had girlfriends could join in and they do this stupid crap and makes them feel special. They were doing it 25 years ago and they're doing it again." And the whole time Dad's looking at Meryl like, "What are you saying?" But then when he wraps up, he's like, "Okay." He gives him a nod of approval. Like, sure, that's fine. Anything to make them believe it's not aliens.
I was waiting for him to be like, and then they make a podcast about horror and sci-fi movies they like, and they buy toys even though they're grown adults. It was like getting like really pointed. Hey, wait a minute.
I know these guys. Morgan turns up the volume on the walkie-talkie and hears something and says it's a code. So Dad takes the walkie-talkie, and we as the audience can hear this clicking in the monitor. And it seems like they hear it too, but they don't understand what they hear, or they don't want to hear what they're hearing. Dad wants to turn it off, but Morgan's like, "You'll lose the signal." And Meryl goes, "This is exactly what the nerds want." Watch how quick this bastard changes. Dad gets out of the car and the baby monitor starts screaming. We hear a signal clearly. Morgan's like, "Nobody move." You can hear these noises coming out of the monitor. Voices, you hear that? Not English, though. Creepy. Dad's like, it's probably just picking up another baby monitor. But him and Meryl look at each other like, what is going on? Meryl's like, "Give me the monitor." And then when our dad does, their hands link and the signal is clear as day. And Morgan's like, "Stop." And we hear clicking and noises and talking, and Dad's just standing there like, "See, this is why we're not watching television. We're going to get obsessed."
Yeah.
And the kids are like, "No." And then Meryl, our non-believer, goes, "You're going to lose the signal." 2 minutes ago, it was nerds. Now he is a believer. The dad looks at him like, "What?" They all jump on top of the car. Morgan's holding up the monitor as high as he can. The whole family links together, and now the signal is crystal clear. Morgan's like, "You can hear two of them talking." We hear all this clicking and warping noises from the monitor. It's super creepy, like insects. And then the signal just cuts out. Creepy as hell.
What did you think the point was with how it got clear when they were all touching the monitor? It seemed like it was clear when more than one person was touching that monitor. What did you think about that?
I don't know. That's like, maybe it's more signs.
Yeah, maybe a sign that I didn't get that one, but that they need to come together as a family to solve this, maybe.
That's another deeper look at it. I didn't even think about. And they do. They do. We cut to nighttime. Dad brings in the second dog. Dad brings out the second dog some food. And the dog is losing his mind, barking into the cornfield, but like, not like it's deep in the cornfield, like it's right there. And the cornfield's blowing. So like, you can't tell if something's there, but you hear like this clicking.
Yeah, there's predators out there.
They can see the heat vision. The dog is freaking out, and then it jumps at Dad, ready to like kill him. And he's like, you're going to feel silly when this all turns out to be make-believe. He grabs a flashlight. He goes into the cornfield. It is so scary, so tense. And he hears the clicking go right by him. He turns, he walks. He's standing inside the crop circle screaming, you're wasting your time. I'm not going to report this. You're not going to get famous. He walks in his house and he stops. He goes to walk to the house and he stops. He hears something. And this thing, whatever it is, sounds like it comes right up next to his ear.
Mm-hmm.
So he drops his light. The light goes out like Barbarian at the worst time ever. He turns the light back on and sees a leg, a very non-human leg, slip back into the crops.
All right. And a couple things. Right before he sees the leg, there's a flash in the sky. If you pause it, I've taken a picture of it, I'll put it online, but there's a little light flash in the sky right before he sees the leg.
Really?
Yeah. And then the other thing, which is funny, is on the making of doc, they show how they filmed this scene, and that part was just like this prop leg. And if you pause it, you can see the top part of the prop leg. Like it's just a leg that's there, not connected to anything. And then when it turns, it looks different. But at that point, if you pause it, and I only saw that because I thought I saw something in the background, and there's a little flash in the sky right at the top of the screen, right before he sees it.
So this is when I'm stoked, because this is our first, I mean, we got the silhouette outside the window, but now we get the first kind of look at like a link to this thing,
Mm-hmm.
like an appendage to it. And that's when I'm like, oh, it is going to be aliens. It
Mm-hmm.
is, there's not going to be some Shyamalan twist where it's just, where the aliens or something. So I was really happy about that. So he runs like hell back to the house. He sits down in the kitchen. He is stressed. The kids immediately notice. Then Meryl notices. They all surround him. He goes, okay, let's turn on the TV. And on in the TV, lights in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico and U.S. officials confirm this is not aircraft from their Air Force unidentified craft in Mexico City airspace. And Meryl goes, the nerds were right.
See, we win.
You should listen to this podcast. Morgan goes, we have to tape this. That's my boy. Get that on posterity, on VHS tape. So he grabs a tape and it's Bo's ballet recital. She's like, no. Morgan's like, history is about to change and it's on the TV. We need to record it so you can show it to your children. But she's not having it. Dad's like, go find another tape. Morgan grabs Uncle Meryl's swimsuit special tape. So many great moments in this movie, balancing between hilarious and psychotic and scary. And they're all sitting on the couch, and the damn broadcaster says exactly what Morgan just said. Everything they wrote in the history books is about to change. And Morgan grabs his inhaler and goes, I told you. We cut to the kids asleep on the couch, and Dad and Meryl are sitting there talking about, could this be the end of the world?
Mm-hmm.
There's a pivotal point in this movie. Dad thinks it is, and Meryl is surprised. He's like, can't you pretend like things are how they used to be and provide a little bit of comfort? And Dad's like, there's two groups of people who see things as more than luck, a sign, evidence someone is watching out for them.
Mm-hmm.
Group 2 sees it as just pure luck, happy turn of chance. You need to ask yourself which group you're in. Are you the kind that sees signs, miracles, or do you believe people just get lucky? Is it possible there's no coincidences? And then again, Meryl gets hilarious. He was at this party once. He was on this couch with this babe. He leaned in to kiss her and realized he had gum in his mouth. He goes to take it out and he leans back in to kiss her, and she threw up all over herself. And he realized that that was his miracle, because he could have been kissing her when she threw up, and that would have scarred him for life. He might not have recovered.
Where do you stand on coincidences?
It's I feel like the world screams at me sometimes. So I think I'm a signs guy.
Okay.
I think I'm a signs guy.
But are
I
you
don't know
very
about.
much in the camp of, hey, today I drove down this different road than I normally drive, and I ran into somebody I know, and because I ran into them, something else good happened to me. Do you get into that kind of stuff in your life?
Not a chain of events thing, no, but sometimes I get that feeling in my gut, when they
Mm.
say go with your gut or whatever, and then everyone on TikTok is like, "Don't go with your gut, that's stupid," but, like, I get that feeling sometimes, and I guess that's a sign thing. I don't think that's a luck, like, thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit of both maybe sometimes.
Do you feel like you have free will? We're going
Or,
deep in
like,
life.
artificial intelligence?
No, is it predetermined? Is everything predetermined, or are you
I'm
making choices?
I'd like to think I'm making choices.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so. Unless this is all a computer simulation.
I didn't say that, but
Are we in the Matrix right now?
no, I didn't say that. But yeah, I mean,
What are
I
you?
think I don't know. I think everything is a coincidence, right? So if we want to go all the way back to, okay, I meet you because I'm at Comic-Con and I have a booth with, Metal Sucks and Metal Injection, and you come by and then we meet and become friends and then talk about stuff randomly and decide to do a podcast, and maybe the podcast leads to something else. I think that's just life.
That's also true. That's also true. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I'm probably a little bit of both, because like there are coincidences, and I'm not gonna say miracles, but I'll just say that like I get a feeling, and I feel like that feeling tells me to react in a certain way. And maybe it's a pre-programmed way. Maybe I
Mhm.
feel that way, so I am going to the destination that it's. I don't know. I don't think there's any predetermined thing.
But weird things happen, and then we look for meaning behind it. And in this case, if we bring it back to this movie, dad, father, the reverend was probably everyone else's rock, and he helped them find meaning in things or find hope at times when they might not have had it. And now he's nobody's rock right now in this movie. He's decimated. We're about to get into it, right? But this horrific thing only happened 6 months ago. Like, I think he's holding it together pretty good for 6 months.
Yes. I'm not a religious man by any means.
I,
Uh,
I I certainly think faith in what you want to have faith in. Wow, we're good. This episode we have gone off on tangents. M Night is, or Night as I like to call him because we're pals. But faith in something, I think, is good for whatever anyone needs to do to get through their own day in life, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else, is fine with me.
which is exactly what dad says. And this movie gives me faith. I want to feel like all of these things happen for a reason, and it's beautiful like
Well,
that. I
we
mean,
want to always feel like we're not floating on this insignificant rock in the
at a million
universe.
miles
So,
an hour. Yeah.
yeah, so we want to have meaning to the acts that we do, but I think it does teach us those lessons and brings us back around at the end.
Thank you, M. Night, for reaching into our souls.
Thanks, Mike. We're gonna get Sean to cry on this episode.
Oh
Not
my
in this
god,
episode,
yeah, for real.
right now.
Uh Meryl says because she didn't puke in his mouth, he is a miracle man. And those lights in the sky are a miracle. He asks Dad, which type are you? And our dad says, are you comforted? And Meryl's like, yeah. And Dad's like, then what does it matter? He says, I didn't tell you what Colleen said just before she died. Whoa, now
Yeah.
you know mother's dead. She said to see, and then she said to swing away. She said that because the nerve endings in her brain were firing when she died and had a random memory of when they were at Meryl's baseball game, and it just popped into her head.
Yeah.
There's no one watching out for us, Meryl. We are all on our own.
Mm-hmm.
Our father has lost faith because of his dead wife. Then we get our flashback scene. Now we get a taste of what the hell he's talking about. He pulls up. He's got his preacher's get up on, the whole thing, the neck thing, the black thing. I don't know, whatever. I'm not a religious guy. I said it 5 minutes ago.
I think it's just a collar.
Yeah, the collar. Officer Paskey, she's there. Same lady from before. She's like, do you know what's up? He knows there was an accident. Ray fell asleep at the wheel.
Mm.
What ambulance is Colleen in? She's not in an ambulance, father. End cutscene. End flashback scene.
And the first day of shooting on this movie was the day after 9/11.
Ugh.
So they held like a candlelight vigil.
You couldn't even give him a week? I mean,
And then they filmed this scene.
oh, man.
That is brutal. Talk about playing with people. Night is they're filming the most awful scene in the whole movie, the saddest scene in the whole movie.
It's our Gremlin's dad in the chimney.
Yes. The day after 9/11. Unbelievable.
Damn, M. Night. You cold. You
I
cold.
mean, I guess you got to work and maybe they had things scheduled out, but I don't know. Maybe you pivot and film like something goofy.
The bow dancing scene at the end.
Yes,
Something to cheer people up.
Yeah.
Fucking guy. Dad wakes up from this horrible flashback. There's a long extension cord running from the living room. He follows the cord to the closet under the stairs. And there's Merrill in the closet watching TV.
Yeah.
He's in there for the kids' protection. They've been watching it since 5 a.m. They're getting obsessed. They should be outside playing Furry Rabbit or Tea Party or something. Dad's like, Furry Rabbit? He's like, it's a game, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
No.
He's like, schools are closed. There's been some interesting developments, which is great coming from Merle, who says everyone's a nerd. They're gone, but they're not really gone. We just can't see them. A bird was flying on TV and hit something in the air like it hit a wall. Like there's nothing there. And it went straight down. And they caught it on tape. They've been playing it all morning. They think they have an invisible shield, an optical illusion. But they're still there hovering. So it's kind of like Nope and Independence Day. They got the force field around it and all that stuff. Whatever. He goes into detail about how they found this crushed bird's head, and Dad is just over this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
He just leaves. He just closes the door right as Merrill's talking. And he just closes the door. He leaves him in there alone, and Merrill just keeps talking. It doesn't even matter that Dad's not there because he is so interested in this. He thinks the crop circles are a landmark, a visual mapping system so they can navigate and coordinate. Makes sense. So now he's become everything he's been doubtful of this entire movie, and he's 100% the nerd that he was talking about, and everything the Army recruiter said that was telling him at first, he was like, yeah, sure, skeptical, and now he's like all about it. Get ready with your props. Dad walks into the kids' room, and there's the kids in their tinfoil hats looking like Hershey Kisses.
I don't know. Mine's not as good as theirs.
And they're reading from Morgan's E.T. book. And they both look at Dad. And what do they say to Dad? Why are they wearing the tinfoil hats?
What's the exact wording?
So the aliens can't read our minds.
Yes, they're reading them. The book is called We Are Not Alone, Evidence of Extraterrestrial. And when we get to the part in the book, it says underneath the picture, it hovers. It says giant saucer hovers over Pennsylvania landscape.
Is it a real book?
I couldn't find it. I don't think so. There are a million We Are Not Alone books. If you Google it, everyone has decided that that's a really original title for alien books. So I couldn't find that exact one. That's We Are Not Alone, Evidence of Extraterrestrial, or the author's name. So
your fucking head, man. I'm just staring at you. We gotta do Coneheads too. I think I have Coneheads in my list of movies. We have to do Coneheads.
You're going on a comedy tangent.
Oh man, it's so good. It's like a sci-fi kind of thing. There's outer space and whatnot, aliens of a funny kind. Our dad sits down with the kids. They're trying to explain to him that they're reading in the book. He's super skeptical. Morgan's angry that Dad, you have a tone. He's speaking to him like an adult. And Bo's like, this is serious. And Dad just looks at them in their hats and he's like, this is serious. But it's funny. It's endearing. It's a little bit of happiness after all this stress. He sits there and listens to them. They're telling him about the book. The aliens are there for two reasons. One of two reasons. To make contact and further the knowledge of the universe, or they're hostile. They want to harvest the planet's resources. And Dad grabs the book. He's looking through it. All the pictures of aliens, all these pictures that scared me to death as a kid. And one of the pictures is a UFO flying away from the house that looks exactly like their house, which was really cool. That kind of got Dad's attention there.
And there's 3 bodies on the ground. Only 3. So I guess it's him and the 2 kids.
Not Meryl.
Not Meryl.
The phone rings. It scares the crap out of everybody. Dad gets up. He's like, everyone needs to put down the book and calm down and eat some fruit. He gets a call, picks it up. Someone says, Father, and then the line disconnects. Our dad grabs his stuff. He says he's going to Ray's house because he thinks he just called. Bo asks Morgan if he thinks something bad will happen. And he asks, do you have one of your feelings? She goes, I don't want you to die. So creepy.
Yeah, also one of her feelings, like I didn't get that. Does she have...
She has dreams. She has a lot. She has dreams. And that's why in the beginning, she's like, are you part of my dream? And then, yeah, she has feelings, signs. The signs are everywhere. Maybe maybe there's a little bit of telepath. Who knows? And the water contaminated. Who knows? He's like, who said I was going to die? She freaks me the hell out, man. We cut to Daddy's knocking on Ray's door.
And it's Ray Reddy. He's a veterinarian. So that explains earlier in the movie when he says he's going to call the doctor about the dog. And then the kid clarifies, like, that's not, it's like a people doctor. So that explains why he wouldn't use the town veterinarian.
Okay.
Dogs.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a whole line in the kitchen about the doctor they're going to call.
Wow. I didn't even think I picked up on that. There's no answer at the door. He looks in the window and the whole inside of the house is messed up. He turns around and there's Ray in his car looking scared as a motherfucker. He's got all his stuff packed in the car and he's bleeding. He said, Father, I've had your number next to my phone for 6 months. When I caught it inside, I couldn't think of anyone else to call. What?
Yeah.
What? He thanks Father for coming. He talks about falling asleep while driving, hitting the father's wife. Had it happened 10 to 15 seconds before or after, he'd have just ended up in a ditch. And our father is deeply troubled by sitting here listening to him recapping the situation. Ray says it was meant to be. With the world ending, people who kill preachers' wives aren't in the front line for heaven. So now we're connecting all the dots here.
Yeah.
He starts his car. He says he's going to the lake. This place is marked with crops and such. None of them are near water. I don't think they like water. Yet
they came to a planet that is completely covered in water.
Not the smartest aliens.
Yeah, and not only that, but we talked about this with Gremlins.
Yeah.
They water these crops. There's no morning dew. How much moisture is in the air? Like,
maybe it's direct contact, I guess.
It didn't rain anywhere where these aliens were. Nobody spit at them when they were screaming.
Yeah, maybe they did. Maybe they did, I guess. Eventually they did.
Just a bad plan. I feel like they sent the guys they didn't like, the guys low on the totem pole, onto the actual planet. We'll stay in the ship. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, go check it. Go check it out.
The CEO stayed on the ship, definitely.
Yeah, go check it out. And they're like, oh crap.
Great.
Water. And it's everywhere. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
What a bad plan.
We'll leave them here. We go, leave them here.
Yeah.
Ray tells father he's truly sorry for what he's done to him. Father seems to begrudgingly accept Ray's apology. Don't go in my pantry, father. I found one of them in there and locked him in. And drives off.
Pulls away, like just takes off.
What? Can you explain a little further, man? So the clip from this next part is part of an Ill Bill song off the album What's Wrong with Bill. The song is called Alien Workshop. I'm going to post it on our Spotify playlist that I've been posting everything we talk about or any clips that appear in songs. Merrill's in the closet. He's watching a news report. Filmed at a 7-year-old's birthday in Brazil.
Here we go.
It was sent to us just a few minutes ago. What you're about to see may disturb you. Tell me any other line that got you linked when you were watching television, then that line, you are glued to the TV. Merrill scoots all the way up. He is 2 inches away from the television. And then we get our found footage clip. It's at a birthday party. There's kids yelling, dogs barking. The camera pans over to a window. The kids are blocking the window, and Merrill is screaming at the TV, "Move, children, vamonos!"
Vamonos.
Again, we get the tension, and then we get the laughter, and then we get the tension. It's very tense, but you're laughing. The camera zooms down the alley, which brings us to our milking of the alpacas moment.
Oh, it's amazing. That's what I was going to pick. That's amazing.
A goddamn full-ass alien walks right past the alleyway looking directly at the camera, and all of the kids scream.
And all of us screamed as well. That was... There are moments in this movie that are just ingrained in people's brains. This is one of them. I mean, it's very Bigfoot footage, classic photo of Bigfoot turning towards the camera, walking. But yes, everybody with this footage from the party, just perfect.
And
Absolutely
again,
perfect.
daytime, never
So
safe.
Scary. And there's all that good cake in the other room that's getting wasted.
And that's the thing. And then you got the kids in this situation. So it's like, it's supposed to be this party and it's supposed to be fun and whatever. And it's during the daytime. It's like literally the worst time and the worst place for it to happen. And then again, I'm locked in because I'm like, it's aliens. It's not, there's no twist. It's aliens. It's not going to be a hyper, the humans are the monsters kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I was so happy there was an alien. That's what I wanted. I didn't want a ship that hides in the clouds. I don't care. Sorry. Merrill screams at the TV, covers his mouth. Oh my God. He jumps out of his chair in shock. They rewind the video and freeze it on the image. And there it is, the alien looking you right in the face. Horrifying. Our father walks into Ray's house and there's chairs stacked up like a fort, like a blockade. He walks in and he sees a shadow under the door. I'm the police. I'm a police officer. We want to talk to you. We know all about the hoax. We took your friend.
Playing an act here,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, he's
like, we took your friends in a paddy wagon, and he stops and he's like, paddy wagon? He knows how stupid he sounds. He goes and takes a look under the door. He doesn't see anything. He grabs a knife. He puts it under the door. He looks at the reflection. He doesn't see anything. He gets up and he walks out. He stops. He marches back, pissed off. He lays down. He looks under the door, and a hand with a claw pops out. He grabs the knife, chops off 2 fingers, and you hear the alien scream. Whoa. Now we get direct contact.
And we get a connection to one of our previous movie in Color Out of Space.
Dinner's ready.
Yeah, there's carrots chopped, and it's a very similar knife. What a move, too, using the blade to... I don't know that I saw that in another movie. It might have existed, but I remember that, thinking that was, like, really cool. So we know the 2 ways to get aliens. Just trap them in a room behind a wooden door or spray some water on them.
They seem to have trouble with pantry doors.
Yeah, it took them a while.
Mm-hmm. We cut to Daddy walks back into the house. There's the kids. There's Merrill. They're sitting on the couch. Get your props. They're all wearing tinfoil hats.
Yeah, their tinfoil hats are better than mine, but I didn't want to get in trouble from Mrs. Vertebrae33 and use up all the tinfoil. Tinfoil is
Just use use the used tinfoil that you cook the grilled cheese on. And then
oh god, yeah. There was a baked potato in here earlier.
Merrill is all in. It was nerds before, but now Merrill's sitting on the couch wearing a tinfoil hat. He goes, their skin changes color. Dad asked Morgan about his book. What happens if they're hostile? They would invade. They'd use ground tactics, hand-to-hand combat. They won't want us to use nuclear weapons or the planet would be useless to them. There are one of two outcomes. They fight and lose and have to return with full forces hundreds or thousands of years later, or they win.
What was the resource you think they wanted? Humans?
Yeah, that's alluded to later on. Yeah. So because what would they want from us now? Like friggin' smog and the filthy ocean, like
Water.
Yeah, I don't know. Dad goes, I heard they don't like places near water. We should go to the lake. And Morgan goes, sounds made up. He's sitting there reading this book. It's probably all horse shit, but Dad's idea is probably made up. Dad says he saw one at Ray's house. He had a feeling it wanted to harm him. The fam can pack up and they can go, or they can stay at the house and hide and wait it out. Morgan wants to stay home where they lived with Mom. Dad wants to board up the house because they seem to have trouble with pantry doors.
Yeah.
That's what I was alluding to before. They're boarding up. The kids are watching the news. There's UFOs in Amman, Nairobi, Beijing, Jerusalem. Morgan says the lights are in over 200 cities. It'll be at 400 within the hour. They're appearing at or around 1 mile from all crop circles. And Merrill goes, they were for navigation. They made a map. They're going to be within 1 mile of our home. Morgan thinks they're going to attack. And Merrill goes, it's like War of the Worlds.
Yeah, they just come out and say the influence there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
He's giving us all of the signs.
The news says thousands have flocked to churches, and then it cuts to our dad, who that seems to hit especially hard. And then the newscaster goes, God be with us all. Dad's like, ugh, enough with this. He goes back to boarding up the windows. The kids are scared as hell. Merrill comforts them. Morgan's like, some guy said it's going to be the end of the world. And Merrill's like, don't worry, I won't let anything happen. And Morgan's like, I wish you were my dad. And Merrill gets pissed. Don't ever say that again. So now we got inner family beef. Cut to later, we got Dad on the couch. He looks like he's in a trance. Like Nick Cage, Colorado Space. Everyone is saying what they want for dinner. Spaghetti, French toast with mashed potatoes, chicken teriyaki, cheeseburger with extra bacon. Now I'm getting hungry. We cut to the kitchen. It's a mess. They made everything. They're all at the dinner table. No one is eating. Morgan wants to say a prayer. Dad refuses. Morgan goes, Bo had a feeling. A bad feeling. She goes, I had a dream. She is creepy throughout this whole movie. Yeah, she foresees problems.
Yeah.
Dad says, let's eat. And Morgan's like, I hate you. You let Mom die. Oof.
Oh, so brutal.
Talk about the best dinner ever ruined. Dad's like, I'm not wasting one more minute of my life on prayer. He screams at them to enjoy the meal. Bo's crying. He's eating food. He's screaming at her to stop crying. He gets mad. He starts taking everyone else's food and eating it off their plate while everyone else is crying. Just the worst dinner ever. But then Morgan gets up and starts to hug Dad, and then Bo hugs Dad, and then Dad pulls in Merrill, and then they're all hugging and crying and sharing this moment together. And again, like M. Night does so well, you're riding this emotion really deep, and boom, the baby monitor starts going off, clear as day, clicking noises and everything. Dad goes to the TV in the closet, and there is the emergency broadcast tone on every single channel. Scariest situation ever. He goes, it's happening. They're boarding up the house. Dad walks to a window. He looks like he sees something out the window, and he starts backing up, like really scared looking. He runs into the room, and Meryl, they're boarding it up. He's telling Bo about the day she was born. She looked like an angel. She smiled at Dad. They say babies can't smile that young. They put up the last board. They go downstairs. We hear the other dog outside barking.
Oh,
They forgot about her. She's barking her ass off. And once again, the In Madness theme. This dog gets ripped. Sounds like it gets ripped to pieces and eaten alive.
isn't that funny that you have an exact connotation of how the dog died? Because we don't see anything. It's just sound. They zoom into a wall for a second, where it would be on the inside of the house, but our mind fills it in. We're on edge, and we fill in the blanks.
And I'm always thinking the worst thing ever. So
Yeah.
then they hear the aliens walking around the house. You hear the creaking of the floorboards. They didn't do a great boarding job, so there's cracks in between the window. You could see, and you see these things walking past the window. They're banging all around the house. They're trying to get in. Then he tells Morgan how he was born.
Nobody ever boards up windows good.
No.
Remember
Krampus?
Oh, such a bad job of boarding up windows. I mean, who has enough wood to board up all the windows? They do use part of the playhouse outside or the slide on it. We see a cool shot from that later on, but yeah, just a lousy job of boarding up the windows.
And there's all this havoc outside, but now they're inside the house. And Dad's still telling Morgan about how he was born and how him and Mom stared at each other and her first words to him, and they share a very nice moment. So now they don't hate each other anymore. So Meryl looks upstairs and sees they did not block the attic door.
Oops.
Now they're in the house. So they got to rush down to the basement. And as they're rushing away, Morgan looks and you see a hand creep out from under the door with the claws. Super creepy. They rush downstairs, they seal the door, but the aliens begin turning the doorknob like goddamn velociraptors in Jurassic Park. Dad comes to the realization, he's like, I'm not ready. Boom, he's not ready to die. Maybe he's got a little faith now.
Mm-hmm.
The fight is on. He is ready for war. Meryl's dumbass finally grabs a weapon to block the door, but he busts the only light in the room. So now everyone's in the dark. Great. Morgan turns on a flashlight, and Dad and Meryl are blocking the door. Once it's blocked up, they walk around the basement. There's lots of noise outside. They're wondering what the hell is happening out there. We can't see a damn thing, and they never show us, ever. So it's like again, we're hyper-focused on this family, but on the TV, they're in England, they're in India, they're all around the house, they're in Pennsylvania, and they only show very little, and it's like, this is like a world domination thing. It's crazy.
And that's what gives me the pandemic vibes.
Yes.
You know that everything's going on, but you're just dealing with it in your house and inside your own head. And we're filling in blanks in the movie. For a movie that gives us the recipe at times, it also gives us a lot of open areas to think. It gives us all the signs, but it gives us also these open areas. We've already gone off on a couple tangents about them. And we have to fill in a bunch of blanks, but it's still amazing.
That's what I love about this movie and many M. Night movies. I can't wait for our next M. Night movie. Morgan's concerned that they don't have their tinfoil helmets on. The aliens are going to read their thoughts. God damn it. So they're banging on the door, and Dad's like, they're only making noises. They're not trying to get in. Why? To create a diversion? Morgan's like, they're great problem solvers. They will find a way in. He gives Dad his flashlight. He backs away. Dad says there used to be a coal mine in the basement. They used to pour coal down there. So there is an opening to get in there. They're looking around for a way to get in, and they turn the friggin' flashlight to Morgan, who's standing by a vent. And they're just standing there staring at him. And he goes, what? And blending in camouflage with the vent A friggin' hand moves and grabs Morgan.
Yeah, and that's really cool. If you go back and look at it, it's there the entire time, and it looks like they just painted on the hand the metal grate, and when it moves, it's pretty amazing.
So awesome. I love that they can camouflage. It's sick. A scuffle ensues at Customero building a huge fort in front of the vent with his big ass dog food bags and storage bins, and he throws a can of chunky soup on top just for added support. And then we see Dad on the floor holding Morgan, who cannot breathe because they do not have his inhaler. Oh no. He can't breathe. Creepy ass Bo is sitting there shining a flashlight on them and goes, I dreamed this. That's her dreaming about him dying, and here he is dying. There's this really rough scene. I have been watching this movie. When did this come out?
It came out in 2002.
I've been watching this movie for 2 decades. And every time this goddamn scene happens, I have such trouble breathing. I feel like I haven't breathed in 10 minutes.
Really?
Morgan's sitting there. And Dad is sitting there holding him, trying to help him breathe and saying, don't do this to me again, God. Do not take him from me.
And this is Graham's transformation. He's becoming the Rock again for the family, and he's helping his child through this situation. They've done it before, and they're going to do it again. And he's starting to regain his faith at the same exact moment.
I mean, regain his faith, but he's sitting there going, I hate you. I hate you. So he is pissed at whatever.
Well, he's regaining his faith, but it's certainly a complicated relationship.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, Morgan is sitting there struggling to breathe, and all you see is the shot of his hand gripping, Dad's jeans. And every time when he finally gets his breath back, I go, like every time, every time I watched it to review for this podcast, like I would lose my breath at that moment. It's so harsh. He tells Morgan it's going to pass. Don't be afraid. The air is coming. And then he begins to breathe, and then Dad is relieved and Morgan is saved. Flashback to our depressing gremlins, Dad in the friggin' chimney story, our depressing 30 Days a Night muffin monster drunk driver accident moment.
Yeah, I actually will say there's 2 things in the movie that I don't think they needed. And I don't think he needed this scene. They kind of gave us a snip of it before. We know how upset they are. We know the guy. I think we could have. It gets you. It certainly gets you, and everybody remembers it. But there's already so much weight in this movie that this is the only scene where I'm like, and maybe I'm just saying that because it's. I think when I watch it for the third time because I watched this one. I think I watched 3 times. Yeah, 3 times before in prep for the podcast, and I think the second time I started to fast forward through this, and the third time I just skipped it altogether. And it's not because it's not a powerful scene. It's just because it's so damn rough. It's brutal.
You said this movie is heavy enough already, and now comes the heaviest part.
Yeah.
Like, how can we even handle all this? Our dad, Graham, pulls up to the car accident. Same flashback he was having before. He's in his preacher's gear. He's told by our lady cop officer Paskey the race truck swerved off the road and hit Colleen. So Shyamalan swerved off the road and hit Dad's wife. He hit Colleen and a tree, and that Colleen is pinned between the car and the tree. And Dad goes, "Excuse me, pinned?" The truck has severed most of her lower half.
Yeah. Awful.
Dad's like, what? She won't be saved. Her body is pinned in such a way that it's alive when it shouldn't be. The truck is holding her together. She can't feel it. She can still talk. We haven't pulled the truck out yet. We wanted you to come here and be with her while she's awake, which won't be very long. Dad's like, is this the last time I'm going to talk with my wife? And she's like, yup. Absolutely dreadful. Dad walks up to his wife, and while he's walking, we see Ray Shyamalan sitting on the floor with cops around him because he hit this dude's wife. Dad walks up to the car. We feel like we're going to get our moment, and cut. Flashback is over. Dad wakes up. The radio is on. Now, this is what you were talking about before. The guy on the radio is saying they didn't come here to take over the planet. They poisoned my friend's family. This is a raid. They came here for us to harvest us.
Right.
But
I will say, that being said, about what I said about the scene, how he jumps back and forth with it,
like Barbarian,
is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
But then the radio guy says, we're lucky they're leaving. And Dad's like, they're leaving? And Meryl says he heard the guy on the radio say they secrete poison in small amounts. A lot of people died. But again, we don't see any of this. This is all... We don't see any of it. And I love how much they accomplish by just saying things or showing things on a television. Meryl's like, they left fast this morning as if something scared them off. They're leaving their wounded behind. Dad wonders why they left. Meryl says most people must have found a way to beat them. Everyone has a weakness. He takes a look at our dad, his brother, and says, you didn't think we were going to make it through the night, did you? And Dad looks at him and he's like, nope. And Meryl's straight up with him. He's like, there's things I could take and things I can't. And one of them I can't take is my older brother, who's everything I want, starts losing faith. I saw your eyes. I don't ever want to see that look in your eyes again. I'm serious. Straight up front with him. And our dad agrees. He's like, okay. Morgan's laying on the floor wheezing. They need his medicine. They want to get it, but they need to be sure the coast is clear before they open up that door.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we got this moment. All of this is happening. They go over to Morgan. They grab the baby monitor out of his pocket. They turn it on. They don't hear anything. That's good enough for me. Me too. Boom. They're ready to go. I love it. I love the teamwork. And this confused me because Meryl grabbed whatever that pickaxe was to block the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then he goes upstairs to check if the coast is clear. Empty friggin' handed. Would you not go up there with that friggin' axe?
Yeah.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Heads upstairs to get the meds. The house seems empty, but it's
That's a cool shot. Coming up the steps, you see the boards with the stars and the moon and the sun shining through, the light shining through. Those are the boards they took from that like playhouse set up outside they had, which is just an awesome shot alluding to space and where our alien pals have gone.
The house is a mess, but it's empty. Cute little bow. People are dancing on TV. She's doing a little shimmy.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Dad's like, Morgan, you want to watch it? I'll go grab the TV out of the closet. Whew. He grabs the TV out of the closet. He's wheeling it out with his back turned to the living room. The TV is in the living room, and in the reflection of the TV, boom, horror. A goddamn alien is right there.
Yeah, and nothing wasted with Knight. He's my buddy, so I call him Knight. They watch that in the closet, and then they have to wheel it out, and that gives us this scene. So everything for a reason, a sign, whatever you want to call it. But if it was just a TV in the living room, it's not as dramatic as him going to get it and having to wheel it out.
The reveal is epic because every time you see a clear shot of this thing, you still never really get a clear shot of this thing.
Right.
It always looks different. And again,
and the only, I would say, unfortunate thing of this movie is with the special effects. They really probably, this is at the time where everyone was so heavy into CGI. This creature could have just been a guy in prosthetic. It could have easily been a really cool makeup job. There was nothing crazy about it. Just get a tall, lanky person to act this out. I think they had somebody on set, a woman come on set that was kind of acting out some of the motion stuff. And I think they should have just kind of went that way. It's not awful, but They show it so little that you could have gotten away with all of it being practical effects and
That's
just
true.
really cool makeup.
And it's all again your favorite fear, daytime horror.
Daytime. Here we go.
You get this feeling of dread. The alien is holding Morgan. We zoom in on the hand, and this. Oh, we zoom in on the hand, and the alien's got 2 fingers chopped off. It's the same one from Ray's house.
And if you forgot, then they show it to you like 5 seconds later. He shows you the fingers actually getting chopped off.
Yeah, exactly. for the slow people like me. But I also love that Morgan's plaid shirt, like the skin, alien skin, is like the plaid shirt color.
Right, it's camouflaging.
So sick. It's the same alien. It's got beef with the preacher man.
Took him a while to get out of that pantry.
But he did it. A spike comes out of his wrist and it points at Morgan.
That's really cool.
Fucking awesome. Flashback time. Dad approaches his wife. She's smashed betwixt the car and the tree.
Oh.
Their final moments together. So depressing. She was just taking a walk before dinner. She says it was meant to be. Exactly what Ray said. She doesn't feel much. She grabs her hand, super emotional. Tell Morgan to play games. Now everyone's crying. Tell Bo to listen to her brother. Tell Graham, see. And tell Merrill to swing away. Cut to the couch scene with him and Merrill talking before, the pivotal point in this scene, asking him what kind of person he is, the type who sees signs, miracles, or do you believe people just get lucky? Is it possible there are no coincidences? Flashback to the alien holding Morgan. Dad looks around the room, and there's Merrill, standing next to his home run bat. And Dad gives him the go-ahead. Swing away, Merle.
How many times have you said that?
Swing away, Merle?
Yeah.
Swing away. It's definitely the rare times a bat needs to be swung, or an axe, or any type of hammer. Yeah.
Everybody. Yes. Everybody has probably said, every party where there's a piñata, somebody has probably said, swing away, Merrill.
And Merrill's confused. He's like, what are you talking about? And then he gets the point. He looks to his right. There's the bat hanging up on the wall. He grabs that sumbitch, and the alien gasses Morgan.
Right.
Bo screams. Merrill gives it a whack. Wah! He knocks it into one of Bo's 1.5 million full glasses of water all around the house. And the water lands on the alien's shoulder and burns the shit out of him.
Instantaneously.
That's why they're not near water.
Right. So there have been no scattered showers in any of these houses after the aliens.
I mean, maybe they were hiding from the rain. I don't know. Maybe the spaceship was like hovering over them and blocking the rain. Merrill starts swinging. The whole family notices, oh, the water. So Merrill's just pop, hitting every glass of water all over the alien, burning the hell out of him. Dad takes Morgan outside, gives him the asthma shot. We see Merrill take a final swing with the bat at the alien, falls on the floor, and then we see from the alien's POV a glass of water come sprinkling all over his face. We see the reflection of the TV, the alien's breathing, the bat's broken, and then the alien stops breathing. It's dead. Merrill runs outside. Dad's holding Morgan. That's why he had asthma. It can't be luck. His lungs were closed. No poison got in. His lungs were closed. And right as Dad begging God not to take his child, Morgan wakes up and goes, Dad, what happened? Did someone save me? Dad goes, someone did. Not a dry eye in the house.
No.
What an emotional frigging moment and movie. We cut to later on in the year. It's snowing outside. Here comes Dad, Graham, out the bathroom. And he's got his preacher's get up on.
And that wall is painted now. And there's pictures of the family on it. It was empty with a cross that used to be there. and he's starting over.
He's got his preacher's outfit on. He believes again. He has faith. A beautiful story. We fade to black. An M. Night Shyamalan film. I fucking love this dude. I fucking love this movie. That's Signs from M. Night Shyamalan.
That's Signs and our 65 other tangents that we went on in the middle of Signs.
One of our very most interesting episodes of In Madness Pod. But that's what this is for. Like, that's what I want it to be. Like, I love that we just go through the movies, but like our thing is to like throw in extra bits. But then when we go off on tangents, that makes it even a wilder ride. And that's what it's definitely all about.
And another theme, I'm glad there wasn't a sequel to this movie. There didn't need to be a sequel to this movie. But I am super curious about the aftermath of this. Is the Earth littered with aliens? Did they just take off? Did they ever come back? Did they just buy rain boots?
They're just going to leave them out in the rain.
Hazmat suits and show back up again. Like, ha. Like,
we got you. Yeah.
What happened next? You know?
I'm glad there wasn't a Shyamalan twist. I'm glad it was aliens. I needed an alien movie to be an alien movie.
And I think that water is a weakness. You see that in Unbreakable, right? Water is a weakness in Unbreakable as well.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So you'll have to see Unbreakable.
I have to see it again. I've seen it once, I think, only or twice, maybe.
And we'll have to watch Sixth Sense.
And Split, man. Split's awesome. Anya Taylor-Joy.
So I have never seen Split. I'll admit that. I want to. It's on my list of movies to see.
Friggin' Professor X does a stellar job. And Anya Taylor-Joy, brunette, you can't go wrong.
I'm assuming Professor X is Patrick Stewart. Is that what you're?
Yeah. Whoever. Yeah.
Oh, the young Professor X.
The
McAvoy.
The young guy. Yeah, McAvoy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not Patrick Stewart. No, the younger Professor X.
Got it.
And yeah, I love that, again, like the pandemic thing, like you're hyper focused on this one family, but there's lights in Mexico, there's lights in England, and like we don't need the fight scene in the sky of the UFO and the army, or like the zoom in on the president. Like, we got to take these aliens down. Like, it's none of that. It's just like you're assuming what's happening all over the world, and you're just with this family on this farm in the middle of frigging nowhere, going through it all. And that, I love that. I love that aspect of it.
Absolutely amazing.
Did you get all your gnarly bits in?
I got them in throughout, and you had a few, which is awesome.
Michael Showalter, watch The State, watch Signs, the TV show. If you watch The State, if you watch Signs, if you have a favorite moment from Signs, at In Madness Pod on the socials.
Let us know.
Yes, we want to nerd out with you about this shit. It's great that I get to talk to my man Vertebrae, but like, hit us on the socials. Let's nerd out and be dorks on the socials, because let's face it, the world's a miserable place, and it's best to bring the littlest bit of joy you can into it, any way, shape, form, or fashion. And if you can nerd out,
Shawn, your Signs moment.
If you can nerd out and just have it, because you're working all day, you're stressing with family all day, like, you need a release. There's concerts. Some people have concerts, or art, or listening to two idiots talk about aliens and water and get your plugs in. Get all your plugs in.
But awesome. I'm Vertebrae33. You can just I don't even want to plug anymore. Just Google it. I make art and t-shirts. You can pick up my shirts at Hot Topic and buy them from my website. Check it out. Vertebrae33 on everything. I appreciate everybody listening. Even if you only listen to 10 minutes of the episode, we appreciate it. And we hope you enjoy it. We hope you listen to all of them. Give us feedback. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear any movies that you guys want us to watch. Love to do it. Maybe we have to try Shawn's comedy idea down the line.
It's good to laugh too sometimes.
But do you want to tease the next episode? Episode
10. Episode 10. Annoying religious lady.
Oh,
what else? What else?
I was gonna say I was gonna get myself a Sierra Mist for that episode.
What wasn't it like a book? Wasn't it a
Yes,
book?
it was a
Who
book.
who wrote the book?
Oh, some little horror writer wrote that book. You know, some guy that nobody knows named Stephen King.
Yeah, that's what we'll give you. I think that's good enough. That's good enough. Teaser.
Awesome. Thank you. This was fantastic.
Yes, make sure you follow us all on the socials at Vertebrae33, at Shawn the Butcher, at In Madness Pod, and we will see you at episode 10. Thank you for joining us.